Hey guys, Pug Weasel, and I am going to do a product review on not every knife I have in this apartment, but on a few of them that I use on a regular basis or think that I would use if I were, say, in a position where I had to grab something and bug out. Say, go to my dad's house because of a natural disaster and then worry about there not being any police being able to get to us for a few days or something like that. So here's what I got. Let me start with pocket knives. This is, I don't know what brand this is, but this is, I'm kind of proud of this. It's my Freemason pocket knife I got for giving a donation to the Freemason, gosh darn it, nursing home, which I have the right to go to when I get old if I want to, because I pay my dues. This is the first pocket knife I ever bought myself. I bought it at a time when it's a Schrade old timer. I bought it at a time where I just wanted to have a pocket knife and I didn't know what it is that I was going to use it for or how to buy a pocket knife appropriately so that I would have what I needed. And so I don't use this very much. It looks kind of ominous, but it's not that it's not sharp or that it doesn't do what it needs to do. It does. It's just not very functional, and I don't like how it locks. This locking system, with the little line up here in the front, for some reason, I don't think it's the best system in the world, but it allows you for what's supposed to be kind of a quick opening, and I don't, it's kind of sticky, and that's because I haven't taken care of it. It's always been a little tough to open, but I suppose if I oiled it a little bit better, it might open up a little bit faster. I use this to open boxes mostly, but and I end up using it the most around here for little bitty utility things. And it has a little back release, and I like that better in the context of it releasing. It's for a right-hander though, and I'm left-handed, and so opening up as a left-hander does not make me happy. It also has, I don't think it works anymore, but a little pin light on it, and I don't even know how to get to the battery to change that. But it's a very nice little knife to keep in your pocket, and if I carried around a pocket knife and I didn't work in the field that I work in, I would carry this almost everywhere. This is the latest pocket knife I bought. It's a Winchester brand, which means I don't know who actually makes it, because I'm sure Winchester has not got a knife making company. They probably contract to somebody else. The reason I bought it, even though it has that same little locking system, is because it has this little notch on the top, the way it looks, which is completely rounded. It's on both sides. It's easy to open up quickly, and that is convenient for me. But these are nice for around the house type of tools. Let's talk about self-defense and utility. This is a butcher knife out of my kitchen. And the reason I set it down here is because, one, it's kind of ominous looking too for self-defense. And I think I might wrap this thing up and take it with me if I had to put it in the bag with my other stuff and head out to my father's house to go look after him or whatever, and I knew I was going to be gone and it was because of a tornado or some other major event. The reason that I decided on this is because I watched a really great video on the Living History School channel. And this guy is a prepper. He is also a survivalist, and he does videos on how people lived out on their own in the mountains. He studies the mountain men life and other things. He did this great video about how mountain men didn't have fancy knives that you had to pay a lot of money for. They would just go get themselves a butcher knife. They were plentiful, easy to replace. You sharpen them down to nothing and replace it. You don't, these guys who have $300 and $400 and $1,000 knives. I mean, don't get me wrong, if you're special forces, I get that. But if you're just getting ready for something that may or may not happen, $400, $500 for a knife to go camping with seems a little ridiculous. You sharpen up a piece of steel and it'll cut, and then you resharpen it. And if it gets thin, or gets to where this is $30 at the most to replace, so it really just you can afford to bang it up and get it messed up and not worry about it. if it gets bent, fine, hammer it back into place or replace it. And I like the idea of that in the context of having a good knife that you don't have to worry about losing or destroying. This is an ice pick, and you don't hear about ice picks anymore. You hear about, you can still get a punch, as a tool. And the reason you don't hear about ice picks is because now we make cubed ice and we don't need to break apart a gigantic piece of ice. But this was a very popular self-defense weapon, back in the 50s, 60s, even in the 70s. My dad has like these hanging around his house. This is where I got mine from, was from his house. And the thing that made it popular as a weapon is because if you have a knife, this knife, and you start using it to cut somebody and you hit bone and your hand slips forward, there's going to be blood on this or whatever, you're going to slip onto the blade and it's going to cut you. And of course, then you're going to leave evidence as well as, hurting yourself. But with this, if you need to defend yourself, you can put your thumb behind it. But even if it slips, you slip down onto what is essentially a round piece of metal. There's nothing to cut you here. So as long as you don't actually jab yourself with it, you're safe while using it. And I hate to be so blunt in the context of harming somebody else, but in the context of self-defense in that kind of situation, having a cut on your finger, if you believe the world's coming to the end, there's not going to be a hospital, there's not going to be doctors, there's not going to be ambulances, you don't have available to you, say, a first aid kit, maybe you used it up. Cutting your finger can be very, very, very harmful, especially if you're mixing it with someone else's blood, which your antibodies aren't necessarily ready to deal with. So you could get an infection very quickly and harm yourself and not be able to do anything about it. So those are those things. This is an Indian kukri knife. Before I show you the blade of the kukri knife, I'm going to tell you that it comes with these two extra knives. I looked up the history on this, and they're supposed to be so that you can take care of them yourself, and you can just basically use them for sharpening, but I don't see how you could ever use them for sharpening. So it comes with these two knives, and they are basically junk knives. These are rusting. I have to take them out every once in a while and kind of clean them off and put some more gun oil on them. But I'm ready to give up on them. They're there. I keep them there. I don't know what they would be used for, except I just don't want to have the whole set separated out. This sheath, as far as I can tell, there's nothing wrong with this sheath. It's not a big deal. I wish there was something over here to kind of keep the knife in. I'm left-handed, and this is a right-handed deal, so it doesn't help me much, and I don't like this big shiny thing on the end of it. But none of that really matters as much as the knife itself. This knife cost me $30, and I think that may have been with maybe $4 shipping and handling when I bought it. And I'm not going to lie to you, I bought it for no good reason. I saw it on there, I thought it would be really cool to have a good knife, and I lived in an apartment and I didn't go camping at the time, and I didn't have a good reason to buy this knife. But I am actually now glad I did because I can see how it would be useful for me. Not only did I not have a good reason to buy this knife, but I put it in storage outside, and the thing rusted to crap. And I had to get it, sand it off, clean it up. There's still some dark spots right around here where it was the most rusty, and I keep gun oil on it now. I also got it right out of the factory as far as sharpness, which was dull. I mean, you could literally, you couldn't cut anything with it, and I've had to sharpen it myself. I've gone and looked at a lot of videos, figure out how to do it, and I'm sure I haven't done the best job, but it is sharp now. And it's actually a very solid knife for a $30 knife. If you can see, it's full tang. That is the metal going all the way to here. It's got a metal carbon steel cap on the end. There's nothing fancy about it. It was made in India. It is the Army regulation issue knife. It is not an antique. There's nothing special about it. It is a very thick blade. Many people who have bought these will use them like a machete. They will cut branches and stuff with them, and obviously great slashing type tool for whatever you might need it for. And so I love this knife, but I won't lie, I bought it and I didn't need it. In any case, I haven't figured out, I know there's ways for me to make a new sheath that's more appropriate for it. And if you're buying one, you should get these two with it. It's traditional to get these, unless you're buying kind of an Americanized version. If you're buying one from India, you should get these. But you don't need them. Put them away somewhere, I don't know. But those are my knives. And I'm sure there'll be comments about how I don't have what I actually need if I say wanted to bug out or something. But and I'm sure there'll be plenty of comments about whether this is a good idea or not. But I am convinced it is. I think the idea that you're going to learn to use this, and if you're, let's say, someone who's a prepper for the big one, the meteor hitting the Earth, every house you pass by is going to have one of these. And if you're in need of, kind of scavenging for supplies so that you have something you can use, whether it be to cut meat and or to protect yourself, this is a great tool. Again, I'm recommending the Living History School to learn about how mountain men use these, and that's about as close as you can get to being in a bug out situation. So, this is Pug Weasel. Think about it.